Yes, people, what is going on, everyone? It's my back again, and what a game yesterday. As I said, I didn't really do much of a match reaction for a few reasons. One, it was just mad. The emotion was crazy. You're not really concentrating on what the goals look like and the construction of the goals. You're just looking at the goals, how they go in. And, Everton conceded 2 poor goals last night. No getting around it. And they scored 3 good goals or 2 good goals and 1 ricochet. So, we won a tough game of football against a Palace side that we know can score goals. We know are quick on the counter attack. We know they're physically strong. We know that they are, combative in midfield. We know that, they've got decent footballers pretty much in every area of the pitch. Defenders are committed. They are a good team, Crystal Palace, and Vieira's done a great job. And Everton in that first half, bar the first 10 minutes maybe, we were in that game. Like we were good. The first 10 minutes, as I say, we were the better team. I think we controlled the game, and we did all right. There was a couple of shots. But Palace always had that threat. In the first half, I think they get the first shot off. A ball comes across the box and there's a diving header which just goes to the left-hand side of the post. It was wide, but it was a warning. And I just didn't necessarily feel like Everton learnt that lesson until a little bit later into the game. And we did learn the lesson because we stopped the threat and we won the game. But it was tough. It was a very, very difficult, emotional game. The second goal, let's be honest, the defending was pathetic, and you could call out a number of defenders, but there's almost no point. There's no point me sitting there criticising Seamus Coleman. There's no point me sitting there criticising Andre Gomez. There's no point criticising anyone in the team last night, because these players, they either shouldn't be playing or they shouldn't be at the club. And that sounds awful, but, like Coleman, for example, we had a replacement. With Gomez, he hasn't been good enough in a long time. We've all known that. And that was on Lampard starting Gomez, in my opinion. And he got it right by making the change. He clearly got it right. Bringing Dele Alli on at half-time completely changed the game. But at 2-0 down, I was broken, and so was many other fans. The lad sitting next to me, I didn't catch his name, but he was a top lad. He was really, really good. But he was just like me. He was nervous. He was emotional. There was fans behind me who wanted to stand up and, cheer the team on. And however you support the team is your prerogative. But there were so many different emotions, but they were all leading in the same direction, which was to try and get this team to go forward, to score a goal. And that happened last night. That happened because at half-time, when we were broken, those players came out. Dele Alli come on. You saw him warming up as he come on before, about 2 or 3 minutes before. You saw him doing his runs on the pitch, in front of everyone, in his kit. And the fans were up for it. They were back up for it, and it was just the right thing to do from Lampard's perspective. He got him ready, and he sort of gave him centre stage, Dele Alli, I thought. And if you're going to have a Dele Alli in your side, I actually feel like that's the best way to play him. Is make him the centre of attention. That's not a dig at Dele Alli, by the way, but that is if you give Dele Alli the ball, what I learnt last night was he isn't the quickest runner. He isn't the most direct, and he's certainly not the most dynamic. He's got a good touch, good little change of pace, and he's got this ability to beat a person, quick feet. Last night, he would get the ball to his feet. A player would run to him from any direction, and he'd just lay it off to a person in a bit more space. He'd make a little movement, do exactly the same. He was so clever last night that, in my opinion, he was actually a step above every other player on that pitch. There was times where he got the ball on the edge of the box and he played a dink ball into Decore, and Decore didn't know what he was doing with it because he didn't expect the ball, or he didn't expect it to come at the height it did, or he didn't expect it. But Dele Alli was just that one step ahead of everyone. I felt like it was everyone, both Palace and Everton, and he added that composure when we needed it the most last night. I can't understate the performance because he was exceptional, because he just diffused the situation. And the way that he did that was he calmed it down. He then was a little bit snide, a shoulder barge here, putting a foot in there, sliding around, nowhere near a Palace player. But these little things got the crowd going. And, we saw a Dele Alli last night that I have no problem spending X amount of money on, as long as he produces performances like that. Because, the second goal comes from him working hard, getting that late one into the box. The third goal comes from him working hard on the right-hand side, getting a ball or swinging a free kick, and Demarai Gray putting it into the box. He starts adding some goals into this. We're going to get the Dele Alli of old. It will take time because he hasn't played at that level in a long time. But last night was an encouraging sign for me on Dele Alli. But he wasn't the only one. Alex Iwobi also put in another fantastic performance. Didn't stop running, was battling all game, charging down strikers, running back after left wingers, chasing down Zaha. And yes, he got beat a little bit easy. Yes, his passing at times is a bit bad, and he doesn't necessarily know whether to shoot or cross or pass or do whatever. But he worked his socks off, and I respect him for that. The same as Gordon, the same as I felt Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I felt like he worked his socks off. Richarlison did the same. When we went 3-2 up, and we'll talk about the other goals in a minute, but when we went 3-2 up, Richarlison is helping. Calvert-Lewin is helping. All of these players are coming back and supporting and trying to get us over the line. And it was a real battle after 86 minutes last night, but it was really refreshing to watch. It was really, really, really refreshing, and I was over the moon that we got 3 points. Obviously, so was lots of people, but it really did start on that first goal, and it wasn't the nicest, but it was a good goal. It was well constructed. Michael Keane getting that goal. Then the second one with Richarlison on the turn on a little pivot, gets that deflection just past the keeper, 2-2. And as soon as that ball went into the box from Demarai Gray, I felt like the Gladys Street sucked the ball in. Like it was going in. And I was sitting in the Park End, by the way, and I'm telling you now, the Park End was absolutely sensational tonight. But so was every single area, in every stand, in every nook and cranny of Goodison Park last night. They were all sensational. And the reaction from the players, Richarlison's is hilarious. I don't know if you've watched it, you've seen it, but the players run off celebrating. Richarlison face plants the floor, it was just comical. It was an amazing atmosphere, and it was a bit of a party in the end. And one of the things I wanted to come on to was a bit of stick that Everton fans have received for going on the pitch. At the 86-minute mark, when the fans ran onto the pitch, I didn't agree with that. The game is still 5 minutes early. It was 5 minutes to finish, and that was before extra time. So you're talking another 12 minutes in the end. Very premature to be running on the pitch. But I do get the boiling emotion because I had it, although I wouldn't run on the pitch like that. When the final whistle went and I saw the pitch getting absolutely crowded, I walked from my seat down the stairs, down the other stairs. The stewards had let it. I don't know if there was a message sent on walkie-talkie or whatever, but literally no one stopped the fans coming onto that pitch last night, and they celebrated with us. A lot of these stewards are Everton fans, and we all walked on that pitch and celebrated together. And look, I don't agree with what happened with Vieira. I understand his reaction, actually, because he would have been pissed off at being, goaded by some fans. His team's just gone from 2-0 up to 3-2. It's the first time that Everton have been 2-0 down at half-time and come back to win a game in the Premier League. We've done it where we've been 2-0 down a little bit later, i.e. West Brom. We were 2-0 down after 52 minutes and we still won the game. But we haven't done it at half-time, and it was a first. It was a real first, and we were great. you know, we were great, and the fans celebrated together. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think take 10, 15, 20,000 fans on that pitch in an orderly way did anything wrong, including me. I don't agree with the racist things that happened the week before. I absolutely don't. I'm a man of absolute equality. Men, women, ladies, boys, any gender, any colour, anything. I just all believe we should all be equal. And it was disappointing to hear that had happened at Brentford. And I was a little bit disappointed to hear, I was disappointed to hear about what happened with Vieira. But last night, you had players, you had Anthony Gordon with a group of fans smiling, celebrating, no harm done. You had the Palace players essentially walked off. One of them went up to Zaha, but again, it's kind of part and parcel of football. But it was massive. It was massive, and that was why the Everton fans ran onto the pitch. That's why we ran on. That's what I walked on, but that's why we went on. I actually needed help getting over the board. It was just incredible, you know. And when people have seen, and I've seen in the comments, you know, oh, it's embarrassing, you know, one of those fans that went on the pitch, blah blah blah. It wasn't embarrassing. This was a football club that are £372 million in the red, are funding a new stadium, and if we'd have gone into the Championship, what does that look like? You know, what does that look like for Everton Football Club in this current situation? In my opinion, it means financial oblivion. You know, a lot of these players don't have relegation clauses in their contract. A lot of these players, the squad would have been stripped of its assets for very little money or for less money, and we would have been left with players that are perceived to not be good enough for the Premier League, and that would destroy us. And that could do a Leeds that have been in there for so long, or a Villa who stayed down there for 3 years, or a Forest who have been down there for 20 odd years. That could have happened to Everton, and it didn't. And that's why it was so jubilant. The scenes were mad. It was incredible. And I was Everton mascot against West Brom in 2005 to 2006 at the Hawthorns. We lost 4-0. But I remember that feeling of walking on that pitch with those players, and David Weir was the captain at the time. And I remember that feeling. Last night was incredible. It was a weird feeling. It was, you know, I remember I stood on Goodison Park, and I felt a connection that I've never felt to this football club. I love this club, and I loved it before last night. But last night, I felt like it grabbed my heart and held it with both hands and wouldn't let go. I felt like Goodison Park cuddled me last night. And I know people will laugh and joke about that. I get it. But the raw emotion of last night was incredible. And I've spoken to other fan channels. I've spoken to other people on Instagram and other platforms. I understand people had that feeling when we played Wimbledon in 1994 and equally in 1998 with Coventry. I was 2 and 6. I don't remember either. I wasn't really interested in football, if I'm being honest, when I was 6. And last night it was a feeling I can't describe. But it was the most amazing feeling in the world. And what I would say to all the fans who, over the last 8 weeks, and this isn't about anything in particular, but whether you were a fan channel, a fan forum, a podcast, just a group of mates at the pub, just a group of, anyone. It was incredible that we all come together last night, and we, at 2-2, there was only one winner, and that was always going to be Everton Football Club, and it was amazing. So, yeah, it was surreal. And this isn't really a match reaction. It's not really a debrief. It's more of a, we need to change for next season. And the board, I hope, know that. In my opinion, I think the board should be sacked. And that doesn't change as a result of last night. The board are woeful. Bill Kenwright shouldn't be on the board, in my opinion. Denise Barrett-Baxendale, I don't know what value she adds. So if she does add value, fair enough. But at the minute, I don't know what that is. Farhad Moshiri, we haven't seen him at Goodison in a long time, which is disappointing. But on top of that, I'm worried about the direction of the club under his ownership. So again, I'd question that. We've got a new director of footballing in Kevin Thirlwell, and I'm hoping that he can do a good restructuring job. I would have preferred the man from Brighton, who I think has now gone to Newcastle. I would have preferred him, because I don't know this bloke. I don't, and I wish him the best of luck in the world. I hope he's successful. And I hope him and Frank Lampard can get on, because although Frank has got his faults, and we have seen them this season, I am not sitting here saying Frank Lampard has done an excellent job as Everton manager, because if he had, with the 17 games he's managed us, in my opinion, we should be finishing 13th or 14th from where we were. But we aren't, and we haven't. But what he has done is he's had a really good start to his Everton career. Some of the decisions, but you can always question any manager's decisions. But the biggest thing he's done is he's united the fans and the players. You know, he's not scared to tell players if they've played poorly. He's not scared to not necessarily give the fans credit. You know, last night, I fully believed that the fans won that game of football last night. I don't agree with Frank that he says the players did it. I don't agree with that. I think it was the fans. Because these players have also had us in 18th position after losing to Brighton, after losing to West Ham, after losing to teams at home that we shouldn't be. In the last 6 games, Everton are 6th in the league. Just for home games. Just for the home form. Last 6, we are 6th. But away form was 16th. You know, and even before that win away at Leicester, which has proved to be absolutely instrumental in us staying up, we were bottom. We were rock bottom, and we'd picked up 7 points away from home, or 6 points. So we don't finish on a high. This isn't a high, but what this is relief, and going forward, the opportunity to progress. And what does progression look like to me? Progression looks like 13th, 14th next season, and confirmed in Premier League after about 32 games, and comfortable. It's not about going and challenging for Europe or finishing in the top 8 or finishing in the top 10 or winning the league. It's not about that. I want to see progression in the right way, and the right way is to build slowly and not go and spend these hundreds of millions of pounds all at once, because that's what got us into the mess in the first place, in my opinion. So, yeah, that would be my plan. And a final message to the players. And I know that the club have people that watch these videos, so I know at the very least the club will see the ending of this video. Please don't do that to us again, because I don't think we could take it. It was the worst feeling sitting there at 2-0 down I've ever experienced with Everton Football Club. 45 minutes later, it was the most incredible feeling I've ever experienced with Everton Football Club. I can't cope with that. So please don't do that again. Let's build slowly. Let's back Frank. Let's give him some time to get these players in that he wants. Let's allow him the rebuild, which, by the way, will take a couple of years now because of the financial repercussions of the past. Let's give him time. Let's not just sack him if we're 14th in October. Let's just give him the chance, and fingers crossed, next season's a better season. Guys, I'm leaving it there. Thank you ever so much for watching. As always, you've been absolutely incredible this season at Goodison Park. You have shown me love that I never felt that I could feel as a fan, from a fellow fan. You know, some people have come up to me in the last 2 weeks and they've asked for photos and all of this stuff, and you don't have to do any of that. I literally am just Mike. I literally just go the game and put my thoughts on video. I'm not special, but you have made me feel special, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you ever so much for your love and your support this season. We've got one game left. Match preview is today, and yeah, what a roller coaster at Goodison Park this season. But at least she'll be in the Premier League next season. Guys, I'm leaving it there. Keep smiling.